MLS is back at it this weekend with match day 21, and we have our best bets for Saturday right here. Also be sure to give this video a like and subscribe to the channel for more MLS picks this season. But let's get started with this weekend's picks. On Wednesday, we mentioned that several teams that almost never win on the road were all away during match day 20, and they could struggle to reverse those trends. Now, several of those teams are again on the road this weekend, and they're big underdogs to get the win. Let's look at some of those records for some of these teams that struggle on the road. We have Montreal at 1-1-8, Toronto at 0-4-5, Atlanta 1-5-3, Miami 1-0-7, Houston 1-2-6, Chicago 2-2-5, the LA Galaxy 1-3-6, Vancouver 0-3-4, and New York City FC 0-5-5. They're all heavy underdogs on the road this week. The Fire, though, they did pick up a road win on Wednesday, which was their first ever win against Portland in their history. But let's move on to this weekend with what looks to be one of the best games on the schedule, and it's Columbus and Nashville. The Crew, they weren't in action on Wednesday, but they are undefeated in 4 games. They drew in New York against New York City FC 1-1 last weekend, and they won their previous 3 games prior to that, 3-1, 4-2, 2-1, 4-2, and 3-2. Their last defeat actually came against their Saturday opponents this week, Nashville, losing on the road 3-1, including a 3-2 loss in the game prior to that. Both teams have now scored in 6 straight Crew games. I bet on both teams to score over 2.5 goals. That would be 5-1 in those 6 games as well. With 36 goals scored on the year, only Atlanta with 37 have scored more than Columbus. In fact, the Crew have scored in all but 1 game this season, that being a 1-0 road loss in Charlotte. They have the second most attacking third touches in the league and the third most shots on target. At home, Columbus has scored in 15 of their past 16 games, in 11 straight, and have just 1 loss in their past 15. Nashville are also one of the league's higher scoring teams this season with 28 goals, and they're led by Golden Boot leader Hani Mukhtar with 13 goals. But Mukhtar and the Yotes that were held off the score sheet on Wednesday when they lost 1-0 in Montreal, that snapped a streak which had seen Nashville score in 14 games across all competitions previously. A bet on both teams scoring in Nashville games had also been 8-0 prior to Wednesday. I'm going to bet on that streak coming back this weekend. So let's go both teams to score between Columbus and Nashville at minus 143 odds. Let's move into our second best bet, and it's DC and Cincinnati. Cincinnati extended their undefeated streak to 14 games across all competitions and to 10 games in league play alone after Wednesday's 3-0 home win over Toronto. The home win also sets a new all-time record for the most consecutive home wins across all competitions to start a season at 13, as well as tying the 2002 record for the most consecutive home wins in MLS to start a season at 10. Cincinnati's 43 points after 18 games are also the most points any team has ever collected after their first 18 games to start an MLS season. Luciano Acosta scored and assisted on Wednesday for Cincinnati, thus extending his goal-scoring streak to 4 games and giving him goals in 7 of his past 8 games. Only Nashville, with 14 goals conceded, have allowed fewer than Cincinnati's 16 this season. But they'll be the more tired team, with DC having not played on Wednesday. Cincinnati will also be again missing the likes of Brendan Vasquez and Matt Miazga, who were away at the Gold Cup. DC has only 2 wins across their past 10 matches across all competitions, but they have been scoring with goals in each of their past 6 games. They have the most attacking penalty area touches in the league and the 5th most attacking third touches as well. Their past 6 scorelines have read 2-1, a loss, 3-1, a loss, 2-1, a loss, 2-2, draw, 2-1 loss, and 3-0 win. So there have been goals in their games. Cincy and Acosta, they're just too hot right now to bet against, but I do think DC can get on the score sheet as well at home. Let's go both teams to score at minus 150. Next, let's move into a couple parlays we like this weekend for MLS Week 21, and the first comes from 2 of the games that have bigger favorites this weekend, and it's Philadelphia and Inter Miami. Until Lionel Messi and friends come across the pond to join the Herons, Miami will be in trouble. They're rooted at the foot of the Eastern Conference standings with 15 points, and they're 27th overall. That's only better than the 14 points of the LA Galaxy and the 13 points of the Colorado Rapids in the West. Philly was in action on Wednesday, coming back to draw 2-2 in Orlando. They also lost 2-1 in San Jose last weekend, but both of those defeats did come on the road. For Miami, they've now dropped 6 in a row while being outscored 12-4. On the road, they're 1-0-7 with only 4 goals scored and 12 goals allowed, and they have only 4 road wins in their past 23 away games. Philly doesn't lose at home at Subaru Park often. They're 6-2-1 at home this season with 17 goals scored and just 5 conceded. That one loss came to Orlando back in March. Otherwise, their last home defeat was in the 2021 MLS Cup Final against New York City FC. They were undefeated at home last season, and they're 26-1 at home since that final. Miami pulled a shock over Philadelphia back in March, getting a win, but they've come unraveled since, and I think the Union will return the favor on Wednesday with some revenge. Let's go Philadelphia to win and to score over 1.5 goals for the first leg of this parlay, and we'll tie it in to a result from New England and Toronto for the second leg. Toronto lost at home to New England 2-0 earlier this season, but in New England, they're actually undefeated in their past 4 games. But that's a rare spot where Toronto has found road success. TFC is winless on the road this season, and they just got smacked 3-0 on Wednesday in Cincinnati. No team has collected fewer road points than the 23 points that Toronto has since the start of the 2021 season. They actually only have 4 wins in their past 43 road games. They'll also be without both of their first choice goalkeepers once again, plus this time also Jonathan Osorio and Richie Larea, who were away at the Gold Cup. The Revs are undefeated at home this season at 6-3-0. That ties their best record at home to start a season ever. They've scored 21 goals and they've only conceded 8, while scoring 3 goals in each of their past 3 games at Gillette Stadium. New England has conceded a goal, though, in each of their past 5 home games, including 3 against Chicago a few weeks back. New England probably should win this one. All the trends and stats say they should. You could probably bet them as a single play just to win, but in this MLS parlay, we'll simply ask for the game to have over 1.5 goals. So Philly to win and score over 1.5 with over 1.5 goals in New England and Toronto. That's at minus 114 odds. Our second parlay from the weekend has 3 games included. And it's going to start with Austin and Houston. This season, just past the halfway mark, but this is already the 3rd time that we'll see these teams match up. Both of the previous meetings were in Houston, and both resulted in Dynamo wins, 2-0 and 2-1. But now Houston goes on the road. Winning on the road is hard, and no team epitomizes that more than Houston. They're 1-2-6 away from home this season while being outscored 19-7. They did, though, just go to Los Angeles and defeat LAFC 1-0 in their last road game, but LAFC were slumping after a CCL final defeat, and they were missing players due to international duty. The win was also just Houston's 2nd in their past 16 and only 4th in their past 51 away games. Austin has never lost to Houston at Q2 Stadium in their short history. In their 3 home games against Houston in previous seasons, they won 3-1, 2-1, and 3-2. Austin is coming off an impressive 3-0 home shellacking of Dallas on Wednesday, while Houston is also coming off a 4-1 beatdown of San Jose. For this parlay, all I'm asking for is for Austin to carry some of that momentum over into the weekend and bring a little bit of a revenge mindset and score at least 1 goal. Next up, Sporting Kansas City and the Chicago Fire. Now, while we're talking about teams that are poor on the road, let's move the conversation to Chicago. The Fire are 2-2-5 on the road this season. They're 1-2-4 in their past 7 away, and they have just 5 wins in their past 24 when playing on the road. But recently, it hasn't mattered whether they're home or away. The Fire have been languishing at 1-3-3 in their past 7. However, that 1 win is a road win, and it came in their last game on Wednesday against Portland, a 2-1 road win, and their first ever win against the Timbers in 11 all-time meetings. The Fire are 11-7 to over 2.5 totals this season, and their games average 2.9 goals per match. They haven't won much lately, but including the U.S. Open Cup, they have scored in 3 straight and a 9 of 11. Over to Sporting Kansas City, their games also have seen plenty of goals this season. They're 12-8 to the over, and their games average 2.6 goals per match. On Wednesday, they drew level at 2-2 with the Galaxy on a late penalty from Alan Pulido. Now healthy, Sporting are finally getting their bang for their buck with Pulido, who scored in 4 straight games, scoring 6 goals in those 4. He's certainly worthy of an anytime goal scorer bet if you're looking for some props in this game. In SKC's last 9 games, both teams have scored in 7. Sporting Kansas City has scored in 8 of 9, while also conceding in 8 of 9. At least 3 goals have been scored in 7 of those 9 games as well. And a bet on both teams to score and over 2.5 goals has cashed in 3 straight and in 5 of 6 in SKC games. Sporting have the most attacking third touches in the league, the 2nd most shots on target, the most corner kicks, and they should create plenty of chances in this game, but I do think Chicago will get theirs too. So let's go for a bet on both teams to score. A bet on both teams to score in over 2.5 for this parlay. Bet on both teams to score in over 2.5 is probably a great bet on its own, but in this parlay, let's just go for over 1.5 goals in the game. Final leg will be San Jose and St. Louis. Both teams are coming off heavy midweek defeats. St. Louis, a 3-1 home loss to Real Salt Lake. San Jose, after a lengthy weather delay, a 4-1 road loss to Houston. Both teams are top 5 in the West, with St. Louis on 29 points and San Jose 27. St. Louis's Wednesday loss makes them 0-1-3 in their past 4, and they're beginning to struggle without the injured DP duo of João Klaus and Edward Lewin. They also haven't won in any of their past 5 road games, while also conceding a goal in 7 of 8 road games this season. I see that streak continuing in California this weekend, where San Jose are still undefeated at 6-3-0, and only 3 teams in the league still haven't lost at home, also being Cincinnati and New England. San Jose were held scoreless at home to Portland last weekend, but they had scored in 12 of the previous 13 home games prior to that. This is the second meeting between these teams, with St. Louis winning 3-0 at home back in March. I think San Jose gets their revenge this time around and likely looks like a good value for a straight home win at around even money. But for the final leg of this parlay, all I'm asking for is one San Jose goal. So that parlay will be Austin to score over 1.5 with Sporting Kansas City and Chicago, and San Jose to score at -131. So just a quick recap of these MLS Week 21 picks. We have Columbus and Nashville, both teams to score. DC and Cincinnati, both teams to score. Philadelphia to win and score over 1.5 goals, parlayed with New England and Toronto over 1.5. And the final parlay, Austin to score, Sporting Kansas City and Chicago over 1.5, and San Jose to score. For my MLS Week 21 best bets, thanks for watching. If you haven't done so already, please give this video a like and subscribe to the channel for more picks this season. Good luck, everybody, this weekend with your MLS picks.